Welcome to your Friday here, 6 a.m. in America's finest city. I'm Eric Connard.
And I'm Chris Groh. It has been a great week. It's great to have things come to an end here on a Friday, but a lot of weekend plans in store for some folks.
Right. It's going to be nice out there for all the weekend plans. Today, you said was going to be one of the warmest of the 3 days.
Today's pretty warm, yeah. I mean, yesterday was essentially our peak.
Okay.
We're not losing much momentum today, but through the weekend we will.
Okay.
In fact, Saturday seems like it could just be an overcast day. So tomorrow we'll watch as those clouds have a lot more trouble breaking apart. They're with us again this morning, those clouds. You can take a look at how visibility is right now. We are at less than a quarter mile of it in Ramona. Aside from that, we're not seeing much in terms of fog. However, those clouds are with us. We'll be watching for 70s along the coast, about 80 inland, 85 toward the mountains, and 107 across our deserts. Coming up, we'll take a look at that cool down expected through the weekend. Back to you two.
Breaking overnight out of Washington, the Senate has passed an ICE and Border Patrol funding bill. The bill gives $70 billion to immigration enforcement. It heads to the House next week. The bill does not make changes to a controversial so-called anti-weaponization fund. That fund includes nearly $1.8 billion for people the White House says were unfairly prosecuted by the Department of Justice. Critics, including some GOP senators, called the money a slush fund for Trump allies and January 6th rioters. So this could spell trouble for Todd Blanche, Trump's nominee to take over as Attorney General. Blanche has backed the anti-weaponization fund, a red line for several senators needed to get his nomination over the line. And also, this just in here, U.S. employers added 172,000 jobs in May. That's according to new data from the Labor Department. The unemployment rate is now 4.3%.
All right, in just a couple of hours, an alternate city budget proposal will be presented by some members of the San Diego City Council.
Of course, this all comes just days before the council is set to vote on Mayor Todd Gloria's revised budget plan. News 8's Tori Apodaca, live downtown, dueling proposals here.
That's exactly right. We're seeing some city council members trying to counter Mayor Todd Gloria's initial budget proposal. They want to create some long-term funding for the arts and culture programs, which of course we've heard a lot of people speaking out about over the past few weeks. So happening today at 8:30, City Council President Pro Tem Kent Lee and Budget Chair Henry Foster III will unveil this new budget proposal right ahead of the final public hearing of the budget. The council members say their plan will create a regional collaboration for long-term funding for the city's arts and culture programs. Mayor Todd Gloria's initial budget proposal that was released in April would have cut $11.8 million to San Diego's arts and culture programs. His newly revised $6.4 billion budget does manage to find funding for some, but not all, library and recreation centers whose hours were at risk of being cut, allocates opioid settlement funds for treatment and support programs, and adds an additional $500,000 to youth drop-in centers. But many still want to see dollars going to the arts. Last month, art advocates showed up big at city council meetings and rallies, frustrated. Listen.
Part of the city's own strategic plan to make this a cultural destination. What kind of a cultural destination are we going to be with no culture, with no programming, with no arts?
Please reconsider your significant proposed increases for law enforcement, including the flock system.
So again, what's happening this morning at 8:30, that budget proposal counter is going to be presented by those city council members. Then at 9 a.m., that's the final public hearing for people to weigh in on the budget. You can attend in person at council chambers, via Zoom, or by phone. Then next Tuesday, June 9th, the city is set to adopt a formal budget. Reporting live from downtown San Diego this morning, Tori Apodaca, News 8.
The Chula Vista man accused of murdering his landlord's daughter is pleading not guilty. We want to warn you, these details are disturbing. Prosecutors say 41-year-old Robert Lee Watkins attacked 56-year-old Brenda Gillette with a hatchet and later disposed of part of her body in a suitcase at a park. According to prosecutors, Gillette, who helped manage a Chula Vista rental home owned by her mother, had gone to that home to confront the tenant about ongoing issues. Her family says they want Watkins to receive the maximum sentence possible.
He was a normal person, but now I don't think he was normal. He was crazy. He's worse than an animal. Some animals are better than him.
So we just want justice. We're just all asking for justice.
Watkins faces 26 years to life in prison if convicted. This morning, 2 women are under arrest accused of murdering their 81-year-old mother back in March. These details also difficult to hear. Authorities say the 52 and 53-year-old sisters were caretakers for their parents in University City. Police say their mother was found unconscious in a gap between a pull-out couch and a bed frame and pronounced dead. This has been ruled a homicide.
And court resumes Monday in Larry Miliette's murder trial. His wife Maya disappeared in January of 2021. Her sister-in-law, Genesis Tabablanza, was on the stand yesterday. She claims Larry tracked Maya's location by hiding their daughter's phone in her truck and discovered Maya was having an affair in June of 2020. Text messages between Genesis and Larry emphasized his growing desperation to save his marriage. They show when Genesis tried to comfort Larry, he responded, quote, "Real friends help you move dead bodies." The court also heard testimony about Larry discussing spellcasters and witchcraft with Tabalanza. Prosecutors also circled back to Larry's interest in the poisonous plant hemlock. Tabalanza testified she thought it was for Larry because he was depressed and not for Maya. The defense argues that Larry loved Maya, he didn't want her dead, and he was willing to do anything to save their marriage. And today, the man charged in the assault and subsequent death of an Escondido man is set to be arraigned. 32-year-old Thomas Butler, who you see here in his first arraignment, refused to show up to Wednesday's arraignment. That's when prosecutors were going to upgrade the original attempted murder charge to murder. Butler has been in police custody ever since 69-year-old Carrie Sharon was found beaten at his residence in May. Sharon later died of those injuries. And this morning, Mexico says emergency repairs to a major wastewater pipe in Tijuana are complete, but a strong odor may still linger across the South Bay. The break sent millions of gallons of sewage into the U.S. The Environmental and Natural Resources Director of Imperial Beach expects this won't be the last time.
Continue to see breaks in these systems because every part of their system, 3/4 is extremely vulnerable. And if we're going to be having a very busy winter this year with the upcoming El Nino, then we're likely going to be seeing some even more infrastructure damage.
This week, local leaders once again requested the governor's office to declare a state of emergency. That request was denied. Meantime, plans are underway to expand the South Bay International Wastewater Treatment Plant, along with renewed agreements with Mexico to speed up repairs and increase investment in keeping our water clean. The San Diego County Registrar of Voters will update election results again today by 6 p.m. This morning, there are about 275,000 outstanding ballots.
The Associated Press has called the race for the 48th district, with Republican Jim Desmond and Democrat Marnie Von Wilpert advancing to the November ballot. The district stretches across parts of eastern and northern San Diego County and parts of Riverside County. We spoke with Desmond on election night, and we are also now hearing from Von Wilpert.
I have pledged the entire time I've been on this campaign trail to be the fighter we need in Congress to stand up to Donald Trump and end the chaos and corruption that's affecting everyone's lives. You know, I met with thousands of people.
I just want to go to D.C. and fix a few things, and I'm an engineer at heart, and I got a great track record, I think, here in San Diego County of not, paying attention to politics, but more to the issues.
In the race for governor, Republican Steve Hilton sits ahead of both Democratic candidates, Javier Becerra and Tom Steyer. However, political analyst Paul Mitchell says data shows Democrats wait longer to cast their ballots, so the latest results could lean toward Becerra and Steyer.
A lot of these voters who traditionally vote early, older Democrats that vote in every election that hadn't turned in their ballots yet. They would say, I don't want to make a mistake in the governor's race.
The top two finishers will move on to the November election. Remember, top two right now, Hilton and Becerra. And now for the latest numbers in other local races. For San Diego City Council District 4, Martha Abraham and incumbent Henry Foster III are neck and neck and in position to head to November. The city of San Diego's Measure A, which would tax homes left unoccupied for more than half the year, continues to be projected to fail. And a close battle for the second spot in the race to replace Jim Desmond on the County Board of Supervisors, with Kyle Crahell and Vista Mayor John Franklin both vying to take on San Marcos Mayor Rebecca Jones in November.
Stay with News 8 for continuing coverage of the primary results. Download the free CBS 8 app on your phone or TV to get the latest numbers as they come in. All right, let's get our latest forecast numbers. Those are the numbers that affect everyone as well.
Yeah, a whole different set of numbers.
Whole different set of numbers. And It's Evan's civic duty to give those numbers to us.
Hopefully you got your vote in. I'd say that was, the civic duty earlier this week. Yeah, but we'll be seeing those temperatures really warming up this afternoon to the above average range. We'll likely watch for a temperature slide as we get through the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, really Saturday in particular, expected to be an overcast day. But what we're going to be watching for going into the beginning of next week and toward the middle of next week is yet another temperature warm up. So today's very similar to yesterday. Widespread upper 60s and low 70s right at the water. Imperial Beach, for example, at 69 degrees this afternoon. 68 in PB, going for 75 in Mira Mesa and La Mesa, 80 for Santee and El Cajon. Let's jump up to North County, take a look at what we can expect. 73 in Carlsbad, 77 in San Marcos, 78 in RB, and 82 out in Ramona. Yes, if you were with us yesterday, you might notice here that those temperatures have lost a slight amount of momentum, but not much. We're still pretty warm out there, still peaking in the above average range. When we look at your mountains and deserts, still looking at upper 70s and low 80s out there. Should be making it well into the triple digits for Borrego Springs and Ocotillo Wells, 103 and 105. The emphasis here is to limit the amount of time you're spending outside doing strenuous activity if you are across our local deserts. It's 10 to 5 seems to be the window. It's hot, it's dry, UV index is rather high. So again, if you're out in Borrego or Ocotillo Wells, that's where you want to stay hydrated, take frequent breaks, and apply plenty of sunscreen. And ideally, that sunscreen is being applied not only if you are out toward our deserts, but if you're county-wide. We'll watch for that temperature slide between now and Sunday, and then just a slight warm-up into early next week. Let's check in on traffic, see how your drive times are faring as we start off the morning. Northbound 5, just north of Old Town Avenue, looking smooth in both directions on the 5 north and 5 southbound. As far as crashes go, we've only had one spot that could be causing some delays, but so far, it doesn't look like it's actually causing any. We've got an object blocking the center lane in National City. This is on the 5 southbound at the 15. Earlier on, it looked like CHP had said this was a cone, perhaps, blocking that center lane. But again, that is not causing any major backups in either direction. And aside from that, it's smooth for our Friday morning commute. On your border wait times, it looks like right now we're looking at about a 90-minute wait at the San Ysidro Port of Entry, hour and a half in total. Otay Mesa Port of Entry, you should be able to get across much faster. It should only take you about 30 minutes to get across.